Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Legal Gym podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, we're going to be talking about the number one legal mistake that I see online entrepreneurs make over and over and over. Now, the show notes for today's episode, which will include all the links and resources to everything that I'm going to be discussing today, you can find over at hawthornelaw.net/13. That's the number 13. So now let's dive in. Now, before we get into the amazing content for today's episode, I want to let you know about a new training that I'm working on. I'll be teaching my 4R framework to get your trademarks registered quickly and easily. In addition, I'll be sharing the top 3 mistakes I see online entrepreneurs make that can sabotage their brand and even force them into bankruptcy. So if you want to sleep better at night knowing that your brand is protected, you don't want to miss this free training. Just head on over to hawthornelaw.net/trademark to get notified when the training is live. That's hawthornelaw.net/trademark. And everyone who attends this training is going to get a free gift. If you're an online entrepreneur who is building a brand online, this is one training you don't want to miss. So one more time, go on over to hawthornelaw.net/trademark to get signed up for the notification list today. All right, back to the show. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the number one top, absolutely, positively biggest legal mistake that I see online entrepreneurs make time and time again, and what you can do to make sure that you're not making this mistake with your business. So for most of you, when you first started your online business, you probably didn't think too long or too hard about the name that you were going to use for your business. Instead, maybe you did a quick domain name search to see if your chosen name was available. Maybe you did a Google search to see if anyone else was using your name. Or maybe if you were really thinking ahead, you did a simple search on the USPTO website to see if your name was taken by another business. Raise your hand, although I'm not going to be able to see you, but raise your hand if any of this is hitting home right now. Now, assuming you took these actions, you determined that your chosen name maybe was available and you started building your business. And here is where most entrepreneurs get it wrong. And the consequences of number one, half-assing your choice of name, and number two, failing to secure the legal rights to use your name can be absolutely catastrophic. Now, I want you to take a minute and just imagine being in business for several years. You're finally starting to get some traction. Your course or your trainings or your services, whatever it is you're selling, is starting to sell really well, and you're becoming known in the marketplace for the name that you've chosen for your business. And then one day, you're maybe in the middle of a launch and you're running some ads to your training or your course, and you notice another Facebook ad for another course with the exact same name as yours. And not only that, you're starting to notice that people are not registering for your trainings or for your email list with the same velocity that they used to. And subsequently, your sales are starting to dip because people are not buying your course as much. And the reason this is happening is because people are buying another course, another training that's running a Facebook ad with the same name that you have, and potentially they think that they're buying your course. I've seen this happen before. But because you chose an overly descriptive business name, you can't do anything about it. Now, I'm going to do another podcast episode in the coming weeks that talks about the different types of trademarks that are available out there. But suffice it to say, for what you need to know for today's episode is that a descriptive name is not a name that's capable of being trademarked. Or I want you to think about the same scenario. But this time, you actually receive a cease and desist letter from a lawyer telling you to stop using your business name immediately. Now, again, you've been in business for several years. You did a search, at least you thought you did a search when you first started, so you aren't sure what the problem is. Well, it turns out that someone else liked your name enough to file a federal trademark application for it. And since the USPTO is what we call a first to file system, that means the first person to file an application for a certain name gets priority in the registration system. Now, because they did that, they got their name registered before you even thought to file for trademark protection. Now, both of these scenarios could cost you thousands, if not tens of thousands or even more dollars. But there is a simple way to avoid all of this, and it's a two-step approach. The first step is to make sure that you pick a business name that is capable of protection. Now, as I mentioned before, a descriptive name is not a name that you can protect at the federal level. But a suggestive name is a name that can be protected. So you need to make sure you pick a name that can be protected. That's the first step. Number two, you need to go ahead and file a federal trademark application as soon as you can after you start your business and after you conduct a comprehensive trademark search. So let's take those each one at a time. So step number one, you must choose a name that is capable of being legally protected. That name can't be descriptive. So if you want to sell coffee, you can't start a store name called the coffee store. That's just not going to work. Coffee is too descriptive of what you're selling. Or let's say you are, in the crypto space and you're selling a course on how to do crypto. Well, if you tried to name that course the Crypto Profits course, that's pretty descriptive about what you're doing, and that might not also be eligible for registration. But your name can be suggestive of what you sell. Great example of this is my Lock It Down legal toolkit. I've registered the name Lock It Down, and that name is suggestive of protecting your business and your assets, but I don't actually sell locks. But the name is suggestive of what it's doing. I am helping people to protect their online business, to help them lock down their online business so that it can't be taken from them. Another example of this is Greyhound Bus. It's suggestive of a fast way to travel. So obviously, it's not a bus line that transports greyhounds. It is a bus line that is fast. So those are two examples of names that are suggestive but are not descriptive. Now, the second thing you need to do is you need to, like I said, take the affirmative step of filing and registering your trademark at the federal level. And this is important because a federal trademark is not only going to give you peace of mind, but it is also an asset that you can use in your business if you ever decide to sell your business, or you could even sell your trademark if you wanted to, or you could license your trademark to other businesses, and you could ultimately increase the value of your brand. Think about franchisees and franchisors. So people that start a franchise, those are franchisors, and they're the people that buy into that franchise are the franchisees. Now, the franchisors create a brand that's very valuable. And the reason why they can be successful in franchising their brand to other people around the country is because they built these systems. Number one, it makes it easy to start a business. But number two, they've got a recognizable brand. So if you go into, a McDonald's or a Starbucks or someplace like this, chances are that you're going to know about the quality you're going to get from that store because you recognize the brand. So those are the other ways that ultimately you can increase the value of your business with a federal trademark. All right, all you Legal Gym listeners, now that you know more about the legal mistakes that I see people making around choosing a name for their business, you are ready to implement. Because if there's one thing that we love to do here at the Legal Gym, it's to take action. So if you haven't already, make sure to check out the show notes page for this episode. You can get a rundown of all the links and resources we talked about here today by visiting hawthornelaw.net/13. That's as in episode 13. That's going to be the home base for all of your legal and business tools and resources to help you start, build, and yes, legally protect your online business. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.